Hey, howdy, hey, welcome back to my channel. For today's live stream, I'm going to be reviewing RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 11, Episode 2, which aired on Paramount Plus. It is streaming on Paramount Plus right now. They both were part of the 2-episode premiere of Season 11 of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 11 on Paramount Plus. So if that sounds good to you, make sure to hit that like button, share, comment, hit that like button, comment down below, and hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Samager community. Ding! You can also follow me on my other social media platforms at Samager Hour on all platforms. Do not send hate to any of the queens mentioned in this video, because that is not what these are meant for. These are meant for us to have a fun time over here on this side of the interwebs. Talk about all things Drag Race and have a cute little kiki. So, with that all being said, we are going to get into this episode. It is going to be a bit of a shorter review than yesterday, just because yesterday we had a lot to discuss, and today there's some to discuss, but I also have a limited schedule. So for today's live stream, it's going to be a little bit shorter, but it should still be fun. So we're going to start out with the queens coming back in the workroom after the lip sync between Morgan McMichaels and Dawn, where no shade to Dawn, but Morgan ate her up. So Dawn now has 2 points and Morgan has 3 points. And thus all the other MBQ points, the 4 other points, which are to be distributed out by the remaining queens, have to be distributed out. And it ends up being pretty kumbaya about it all. It's interesting. Morphine is upset because she thinks she should have been in the top, and then she's also upset because she wants Lucky and her to have an alliance, right? The Miami Girls Alliance, because that's what her and Lucky had agreed to in the previous episode, right? We talked about this, but now here we are. She's trying to get someone else to go first, giving the badge, so she knows who to give her badge to. Because otherwise it could have ended up being Morphine ending up with 0 badges and other queens ending up with 2. We've seen that mess before. I mean, look at the pink bracket last season with Mistress and Georges, right? That was a mess, but it was funny. So Morphine's upset, right? Lucky is kind of explaining her thoughts in terms of who she's going to give the point to, so that she's not doing alliances, which is a lie, because in the previous episode she had agreed to an alliance with Morphine. Morphine might have been the one to mention it first, but Lucky still agreed to be part of the Asukar alliance. So don't be saying that you're not doing alliances now when you had agreed to an alliance in the previous week. That's not how that works, Lucky, and that's messy. So I get where Morphine is coming from, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. So Lucky gives her point to Mystique. Mystique gives her point to Lucky, right? So it's like a flip, right? And then we end up having Morphine giving her point to Akira, and Akira giving her point to Morphine. So it's very kumbaya. Everyone ends up with 1 point. It's fine, but I do like it when it gets a little messy. I think that adds another layer of fun and enjoyment to the show, because I love a mess. And we aren't really getting much mess. And I want to see some mess. I want some chaos. So that's how the points kind of all played out, right? And then they kind of continue that conversation, and Dawn is also talking to Morphine and being like, well, Lucky lied because she had agreed to be in an alliance. And now she's saying, oh, I'm not doing alliances. So it's a messy game. It's a messy game, right? And I get where both of them are coming from, because on the one hand, you're Lucky and you see Dawn and Morphine kikiing in the corner, and you're like, how can I really trust Morphine if she's clearly better, closer friends with Dawn than me? So why would I give my point to Dawn to Morphine, when Morphine may not give her point to me? it's messy, right? So this is where points stand at the beginning of the next day. Dawn has 2 points, Morgan has 3 points, and everyone else has 1 point. It's very kumbaya, very much like this is how it's gonna play out, how it usually plays out. They're gonna follow the formula. No one's really getting messy yet. Which on the one hand I get, but on the other hand I'm like, this is only 3 weeks, right? You have three episodes to get the points to make it to the top 2. That means you don't have very many opportunities to make it onward. So when you have people not really playing the game, it makes me question, how are you going to make it through, you know? I mean, no shade to Mystique, but she's not playing the game. She's not going to make it through. And I also don't think Lucky is going to make it through at this point, like, personally. Anywho. Also, probably Morphine at this point. Anywho. Alright, Morphine ends up calling out Lucky about the alliance, saying you had agreed to forming an alliance with me, and then Lucky says, well, you said it first. And, like, that might be true, Lucky, but also I think that's you distracting from the fact that you did have an alliance with Morphine when you had claimed you aren't doing alliances, which was a lie. And she checked you. And you just tried to check her back, but it wasn't. You're still ignoring the point of her saying, well, you were in an alliance. And now you're saying you're not doing alliances? That's not really being fair and honest about your game. I mean, granted, who is going to come out here and say, oh, I'm part of an alliance? Like, that's dumb. But again, like, there are multiple perspectives you can take within this game within a game, right? So that's just kind of what what it is right now. And that's the drama. There's not much else drama. There really isn't. RuPaul does RuMail. We get a mini challenge involving putting underwear on without using your hands. Sure, no one really succeeds at it. They all end up failing. Everyone gets $500 work. Yeah. And then RuPaul tells them that the main challenge is going to be a design challenge inspired by different queer bars throughout the country. So you have the leather bar, the country western bar, the piano bar, the tropical bar, kitsch bar, and the white party, right? So those are the different themes that they have to pick from. Morgan gets to go first since she won the previous challenge, and Morgan picks the leather bar. And then she picks the person next to her to pick next. And that was... Who was next to Morgan? Was it... It wasn't Dawn. Because Dawn... Alright, so Morgan went first, and then Morgan picked Akira to go. And Akira picked the white party. And then Akira picked Mystique. So it kind of went on in the pattern of the line. Everyone was kind of just like, oh, we're just going to be fair and diplomatic, and we're not going to really be messy. We're not doing... Which I get, but at the same time, I'm like, be messy. Be messy. So Akira picks white party. Mystique picks country western. Dawn ends up picking piano bar, which Morphine whispers to her, saying, hey, I want piano bar. Am I there? Oh, God. Oh, God. All right. So Dawn picks piano bar, Morphine picks tropical bar, and Lucky picks kitsch bar. Kitschy bar. Kitsch bar. Kitsch bar. Anywho, that's kind of how the cookie crumbled. It followed the pattern that you would kind of expect it to. Yeah. Which, on the one hand, Morphine is mad at Dawn for picking the bar that she had told Dawn she wanted. But at the same time, I'm like, Dawn can pick the one she wants first because ultimately she's picking for herself first, right? It's a game. You're still playing for yourself. You might be in an alliance, but you're still going to put yourself first. Duh. So Dawn picks piano bar. Morphine's a little upset about it. A little upset. because she doesn't want to have chocolate bar. She's like, oh, it's so predictable, and she doesn't want kitschy bar. Sure. So Morphine ends up going with the tropical bar, and Lucky goes with kitsch bar. I think I said that already, but so everyone has their fabrics, their themes, all of the above, and starts putting together their garments. Morphine's upset, like I mentioned. Lucky's doing stuff with hot glue, which I thought was interesting because on the one hand, she's making a headpiece, but then you have another headpiece, which in my opinion is made better, for lack of a better term. With Dawn. So they're each kind of doing a headpiece moment, right? We have Mystique talking to Kira, asking for advice because Mystique isn't necessarily the best seamstress and doesn't. She wants to take a risk by taking country western because she was eliminated on a challenge where she did a country western runway. So she's like, this is me redeeming myself, which on the one hand, I'm like, sure. But also, if you don't have the skills to really sew an impressive garment, is that the smartest idea? I don't know. Yeah. Akira is also saying that she's not super confident. She's not a front runner. I'm like, Akira, you make amazing garments. What are you talking about? She says, oh, I don't feel that confident. I'm not a front runner. You don't need to worry about me. I'm like, sure, Akira, sure. Which, I mean, like, yeah, you don't want to make a target for yourself, but also, like, let's be honest, you're gonna slay. I also get it where Akira is coming from because, like, she's getting in her head about it. Usually, when she's making a garment, she's in a different situation, so she's not in a competition mode, which can put yourself in a completely different mindset. But hey, it is what it is. RuPaul and Raven come out. Wow, RuPaul and Raven. Okay. They do a walkthrough. I did find it interesting that the two queens who brought their own body forms ended up winning the challenge. I'm just saying, that was interesting. Dawn and Akira both brought their own body forms as opposed to using the ones provided. Maybe a hint to future queens to bring your own body form so you can pick something that really fits you well as opposed to using the one provided. Maybe a useful hint. Who knows? Maybe just a coincidence. When I saw this, I was like, oh shoot, Dawn's doing something cool. And we've also seen Dawn's designs in the previous season when she was on, and they're always very impressive. She just was also competing against Q, who is like going on Project Runway now, like different levels. But, and Lucky's talking about her headpiece. Akira, people are expecting a lot from her because she does make a lot of her own garments, and she's feeling the pressure of that. And we also get this moment between Morgan and Raven because they are good Judies, but then she's talking about how she's able to separate work from friendship because right now they're at work as opposed to at home, they're just friends, so there's a different dynamic at play. Sure. I really like Morgan this season. I think she's fun. She's a really good time. Good time girl. Morphine said she's done. Sure. Akira is struggling. Dawn's headpiece, right? This is a well-made, well-constructed, cool-looking headpiece. And then you have Lucky's. No shade Lucky. It's like expectation versus reality. What you bought versus what you get. Anywho, Lucky ends up covering it in this material. Was thinking it's very Lisa Frank, that the materials that she was getting for the kids part were very Lisa Frank with like the rainbow tiger print. Yeah. And she's using it very cleverly, which also fits well with Lucky's aesthetic. Yeah. New day in the workroom. There's some drama, but nothing too serious. I'm going to kind of just move on to the runway because there's not too much to talk about. More continuation of the alliance conversation. Like he was talking about how her first time performing, she performed with Morphine as a host, and she was saying Morphine didn't really talk to her, and then Morphine's like, well, is that why you're not giving me a point now? That was an interesting conversation. I don't necessarily think they are going to be like big moments in this season because, like, ultimately, I don't think Lucky's making it out of this bracket. But sure. All right, bring it to the runway. I guess yes. Up first, we have RuPaul. It's nice. I'll give it a fab. Yeah, sure. Huh. She looks pretty. Michelle, you look nice. I love the colors. I love the silhouette. Fab. Fab. Carson, I think, does give really good. Carson, I think, does really give really great critiques on a design challenge. So this felt like a very good opportunity to bring Carson back on the show. And I thought he gave some really great critiques. And finally, we have Kate Hudson as the guest judge. She was lovely. Lovely. Sure. Happy to be there. All right. Category is bar couture garments using the materials from the themed around the bars. Up first, we have Dawn. I thought this was fierce. And fierce is fierce. I love the headpiece moment. It's very avant-garde, very Dawn, very well done, well painted, well constructed, very cohesive, very clear concept. This was fierce. And AppFab is great. It's great. Next up, Akira. My favorite of the night. I thought Akira looked sickening, and just looked very impressive, very well constructed, great looking garment. Love the hair, love the full moment of it all. And of course, I mean, it's Akira. Are we surprised? Are we surprised? The runaways from Akira are always 10s. Anywho. Yeah, no, she looks fierce. Fierce. Next up, we have Mystique Summers Madison. This was probably my least favorite of the night. I hated the shoes, hated the garment, was not impressed. They were being very nice in the judging. Very nice. They were like, oh, I can tell you really enjoyed yourself. They aren't really showing too much of the negative critiques on All Stars, which is fine. But on the other hand, I wanted, if you're gonna serve something that's bad, I want the truth, you know? Anywho. This was a drab for me. Drab for me. Next up, we have Morgan McMichaels. Morgan gets a fab. I think this is a very great look on Morgan. I love the color, love the shape, love the silhouette. The fabrics look great. I love all of the different textures that she incorporated into the garment. The hair looks nice. Fab. Fab. I mean, already surprised. Anywho. Next up, we have Morphine Love Dion. I thought Morphine looks nice. It would give me a safe. It's a very soft fab. If she were on another season, she probably would have been safe on a regular season. Not in the top, but probably safe. It was fine. The mug is always going to be pretty. Always going to be pretty. And Lucky Stars. The garment is really cool. I love the shape. I love the concept. Very cool, very unique, very Club Kitty. I hate the shoes. And I feel like that's always the case with Lucky. She always ends up just throwing on some random ass shoes, and it's very disappointing because I'm like, you have this really cool concept, very cool material, very cool outfit that you could have had, and then you just throw on a random shoe, which brings it down for me, but it's still fab. Very cool concept, very Lisa Frank, very fully realized fully embracing the Lucky Star aesthetic, which I really appreciated, as opposed to going into the regular mug, which she doesn't necessarily do very well at. I'm like, if you're coming back for All Stars, you should have practiced it. Anywho. All right, RuPaul is going to announce the top 2, and there are more. Dawn is in the top 2 with Akira, Chanel, Davenport. This felt correct. Very much the top 2 I saw, and you can tell they're becoming good Judies, and I love that. So Dawn has 4 points, Akira has 3 points. And they're going to be lip syncing to earn 1 more point and $10,000. And the lip sync song is Fergalicious by Fergie. Who remembers this song? So I wouldn't necessarily put it on the same level as Body between Morphine and Dawn, but to a lesser degree, it's... I mean, Dawn lip syncing against another Body queen to a song low-key about Body. Akira kind of ate it up. And I feel like we're seeing a lot of the same moves from Dawn in each of her performances, which is fine. She's just not a great lip syncer, which is unfortunate because she's been winning challenges and doing well. She just isn't able to close it out and get the extra point or the money, which is disappointing. But at the same time, maybe she's keeping her target smaller. I don't know. I mean, ultimately, we still only have 1 more episode in this bracket, right? So, Akira definitely ate it up for me. I blow kisses. Like, that was... So good from Akira. One of the best. It was great. Akira ate it up. Yeah. Anywho, that was kind of this lip sync. Not much else to report. Like, Akira ate it up. Are we surprised? No, I'm not. And you shouldn't be either. So congratulations to Akira. She gets that 3rd point. So she is now at 4 points, tied with Dawn. And she also got $10,000. Fierce. All right. And this is kind of where the points stand at. Oh, did I not include that picture? That's awkward. So, this is where the points stand, right? So, Akira has 4 points. Dawn has 4 points. Morgan has 3 points. Everyone else has 1 point. The 4 remaining queens have their MVQ points to give out between Lucky, Morgan, Mystique, and Lucky, Morgan, Mystique, and Morphine. Lucky, Morgan. Yeah. So, if I were one of the other girls next week, right, I would have Morgan go first, since she's the one in the lead with most points at this point. So, whoever Morgan gives her point to, I would give my point to that person as well. So, you can at least bring someone else up to be tied with Morgan or above Morgan, because they'll have, let's see, because they all have 1 point at this point. So let's say Morgan gives someone a point, so that'll bring them to 2 points. And then there's opportunity for 2 more points, so they could surpass Morgan, just as a possibility. I don't know if that's necessarily the smartest move, but at the same time, we only have 1 more week, and there's not really many more opportunities to make it into the top 2. So that kind of brings me to the end of this review. Like I said, it was going to be a shorter one. I had a good time talking to y'all today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be back next Friday with my episode 3 review, the end of the orange bracket. And also, at some point this week, I do plan on doing a season 19 rumored cast list video, so be on the lookout for that. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I will see y'all later. Have a good rest of your night or day wherever you are. And I will see y'all later. Bye. Ding.